Hello, how is everybody doing? My name is Dorothea Robinson, and this is Life After Domestic, LADV podcast. And I'm so super excited about today because the person for whom it is that is going to bring to you great information. I bring her because people who are now survivors who've come through a domestic violent relationship or an intimate partner abusive relationship, they go through many things. And the one thing that we don't really talk about is our hair. You know, there are many women who can attest to who've been in a domestic violence situation or intimate partner abusive situation, how often their hair has been used to be dragged around the house or to be pulled on. And the unfortunate thing at times is that as a survivor who has had their hair pulled and manipulated or ripped out, they have issues thereafter. They have issues thereafter where, they are having to cover up bald spots or they're having damaged hair and they just don't know what to do. And so I'm not going to hold my guest any further, but I want you to know just a little bit about what she does. So Precious Rutlin, the hair regrowth doctor, is a certified trichologist, a board-certified holistic health practitioner, and a CEO of Hair, Health, Happiness, Trichology, and Wellness Clinic. She is no newbie to the hair industry. She is a best-selling author of her latest bestseller, Hair Regrowth Starts From Within, a 8-phase system to heal inside and out. As an overcomer of postpartum hair, 60-pound weight loss, high blood pressure, depression, anxiety, emotional abandonment, and overachiever syndrome, Precious uses her experience to teach professional women how to achieve healthier hair, better happiness, and happiness within. When she is not working, she reads, writes, spends time with her husband, kids, family, pets, and catches up on NCIS episodes. Girl, we're going to have that as a different conversation because that's my show as well. Precious, welcome to Life After Domestic Violence. Thank you so much for your yes, for being here. How are you today?
I am doing fantastic. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly, love. Yes. So, this podcast, Life After Domestic Violence, we talk about many things. There's no subject that we won't discuss because our survivors, those who come up out of domestic violence, we have a gamut of things that we have to deal with, and hair is an issue, and that's not discussed. So, tell us exactly, how did you get to be right here? How did you come to say, this is what I am called to do, to speak about hair?
Yes, absolutely. So I got into trichology. Well, first, let me just back up. Hair has always been a passion of mine. And at the time when I was coming out of high school, I told my folks, I want to go to cosmetology school. So that wasn't well received. And they felt at that time, at that day and age, it was go to college, get a job, job security. And so I did all that, and I still wasn't fulfilled. Like, I just knew that was not my calling. And so I did my research and just put myself through, the cosmetology school, trichology, and just did everything that I needed to do to get myself where I needed to be, in spite of the negativity or the belief that I didn't get from my family. And so as I myself had to deal with inner pain, inner emotions. Just I had been carrying baggage, because that was hurtful, that I just didn't do, some things at that time when I was coming out. So I was carrying that anger for a long time, that rejection and that abandonment. And at that time, I didn't realize I was carrying it. But as I, went through life, end up having my own children, just experiencing things just as a woman, it would, God has a way of bringing situations to you to show you like, hey, you need to deal with this before you can get to your next level. So I really had to just look at myself in the mirror and get honest with myself and who I really am. And as I began to do that, things were coming up. I'm resolving those feelings, getting help, dealing with things a healthier way, because trauma, it hits you in so many different instances, in many different ways, and we don't realize it. And so people don't realize that our emotions, they get trapped in our body. So they're dealing with our organ systems, and they'll hit us in different ways, and they'll also affect our hair. So for me, for example, when I had my children, although it wasn't anything physically domestic in this instance, but I experienced, for instance, postpartum hair loss, and it was just devastating to me. And it was like, how do I go about doing this? I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I was like, well, there's more to this. I got to be able to help people. And that's just when I had the epiphany, and everything just came together for me, because I was like, there's tons of stylists out here, but I really don't hear people, especially with the African American, talking to us, telling us, about our hair, good hair care. Like, we can sit all day and hear about, the latest wigs, the new trends. Society is good at teaching us on how to mask our pain, how to cover up, how to put on a wig, and they're really big on, not wanting us to accept ourselves or accept our story, or we look at it as being bad or being the victim. And so I decided that I wanted to be one of those people that can help as many women as I can, and share my knowledge with them on what is it going to take to regrow your hair. What does your body need as far as nutrition and supplements? Because I've done the whole thing too. I've been on YouTube and Googled and tried different things, and that's not what our body needs at that time. So that's why I wanted to specifically set myself apart, stand out, and be able to help women right where they are. And as I was going through my journey, recovering my hair, getting my emotions back together, and getting back in sync, along the way, I learned that trauma, whenever we hear something about trauma, people always think it's associated with some sort of violence, and that's not always the case. So I just want to read a definition to you that I wrote down that I loved and has always stuck with me in my spirit. And trauma is anything that changes how you see yourself and how you walk through this world. And when I heard that definition, that really just captivated me. And so that's when I decided to answer the call from God and said, yes, I want to be on this mission to help women, so they can be their best selves, and to teach them, what they need so they can get to their next level. So I know that I can be an answer to somebody's prayers.
Precious, that was precious.
Mm-hmm.
If you could read that definition again, because that in a nutshell is what it is. The emotions that we trap in, that, wherever the trauma happened, and I explain this with my clients a lot, is that whatever age you were when that trauma happened. And if you have not taken care of it, dealt with it, addressed it in a healthy manner, that people remain in that area, that era, that time frame of, or whatever age that they were in, and they have not released it. But your definition should be the catalyst, just as you said, as the starting point, and recognizing and understanding this. So if you could you say that again, because that was so super profound.
Yes, I sure can. The definition that I just read is what is trauma? And I heard of trauma being defined as anything that changes how you see yourself and how you walk through the world. And like I said, when you hear that, immediately that should just do something to your spirit, just quicken you in your spirit, because you just got to think about that just for a moment. And and all the time, it don't even have to be anything with a relationship. This like Dorothea just said, this could be something that stemmed from childhood. And Dorothea, can we just be honest? Even like just coming up with us in our mother's womb, if our mothers have experienced something, that trauma that she experienced while we in her womb, while that baby in her womb, that baby experiences everything that mother has went through. And guess where them feelings and stuff are going to?
Right. So I've done a podcast with someone who is, she's a holistic doctor, and she helps with, postpartum. She helps with the delivery. She's a midwife. She's all of that, but she comes from a holistic standpoint. And she said the very same thing that you did, that when women are pregnant, and if they have whatever stressor for coming from whatever stress, which is, they're dealing with trauma, that your womb holds all of that, and it is transferred to the baby. And she even alluded to that when we are young, as young little girls, that if we are experiencing whatever trauma, that our wombs are not healed, and so therefore our pregnancies are even labored and having issues. And so this just is a super conversation that's a great connector for what it is that I've just learned. So Precious, I thank you for all of that, because that sets me up to ask this next question of you. Is, so when you found out your purpose, you learned who you are, who you serve, and who you should serve, and how you should serve. With that being said, what do you do for clients? Take me as a brand new client, and what can I expect from your services?
Yes, absolutely. So as a client, I always get to do a in-depth, comprehensive analysis, an intake for you, because what I've learned through the years, society is quick to sell us on the, like I said, the latest and greatest vitamin, latest and greatest supplement. Or even when you go into like your physician's office, they don't have that much time to spend with you before they're prescribing medications. Now, don't get me wrong, because we do have our doctors, we do need them. So, they're our partners in this. But so what I do is I spend that extra time with you, and I get a detailed history as far as, what was your life like before, you started experiencing your hair conditions, and, what were your eating habits like? What was your lifestyle? So everything's very private. I can meet with you online. So it's very, my business is virtual as well. I do have an office, but the way things are going at these days, I wanted to go ahead and open up like a telehealth online, so people could still have access, and people may not be able to get into the doctor's office because they're working. Again, they have those standard hours, of 9 to 5. And if you at work 9 to 5, you can't get in there, and then they're closed on the weekend. And so I have that option available. But once I get through with your consultation, I get a hair sample from you, and it's called a hair tissue mineral analysis. And I really love using that tool. So not only do I have your comprehensive history of your medical history, your background, I'm getting a good picture of what's going on externally with you. Now I'm looking at you internally because I want to know, okay, I know what you told me, but now I want to see really what's going on internally. So I get a hair sample from you. I send it off to the lab. It comes back, and then I can gauge to see, okay, where are you nutritionally deficient? Do you have any toxins, any heavy metals in you? How are you processing your food, your digestion? Are you a slow metabolism? Are you a high metabolism? And then looking at that, I can kind of tell or gauge, okay, are you heading into depression? Just different things, different components that would be associated, as far as like your well-being and your diet. And then from there, I put together a customized plan tailored just to you. So you're not going to get the same plan as I gave someone else, because this is tailored specifically to you to get your body to heal from the inside out. And then if you have additional support that's going to be needed, I'm there for you. So I have different programs and options, but that's the main thing that I do. I work with the women from inside and out, because that's what it's going to take, again, to rebuild you. Women have experienced trauma, and then the last thing they need is their hair to be gone, and then you just really lose. You just really have a breakdown. So I know what it is, and that's where I go in to build you back up and help you get your confidence back.
Wow, that's really impressive, because most of us, I want to say for the most part, yeah, we know we should be eating healthy, and it has to do with nails growing correctly, our skin looking great, and our hair as well. And in the African American community, and again, I am not no tea no shade about the weaves or the wigs or the protective styles and all of those things that we tend to do more with our hair. And we can get into about why we do those things and why we don't go natural, or why there's a lot of conversation that could be had around that. But so we could do a little bit of role play if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I am an advocate for women who are in, domestic violence, intimate partner abusive relationships. Mm-hmm. And I hear a lot of women in this community about their hair. Mm-hmm. And I'm coming to you mm-hmm. as a woman who has come up out of an abusive relationship, mm-hmm. who has had her hair pulled on. I've been dragged through the home. Mm-hmm. I have had my hair snatched back. And so the trauma, the physical trauma, the actual physical trauma to my hair has left me with weakened areas in my hair where, I'm balding in one spot, or, I just have, some hair growth, but it's not growing properly. We're talking about, a woman who is now a survivor, whose goal is to make sure that the kids are straight now and make sure that our living arrangements are right, all of those necessary mandatory things that are placed upon a survivor. And so I'm coming to you with major physical trauma that has happened. And the emotions that now I'm dealing with, because now I am out and, I'm in survival mode. What would you say to someone in that situation? Where does she begin?
Yes, absolutely. So first and foremost, what I would do is definitely recommend and bring comfort to her, and to let her know that it's going to be all right and everything can be worked out. And start getting your support system together, somebody that's going to be able to pour into you, and not as far as being a negative, but a positive. So that's the first thing, is getting your support system together. Second thing that I would recommend is of course, coming to someone like me, a trichologist in your area, or either, getting online, getting an appointment with me. But should you not be able to do that, the next thing I would say is just to bring comfort and peace to yourself, so you feel like you have it together. If there's anything that you could do to camouflage, that area of your hair, so it's not exposed, because I know that's the first thing when you're in that trauma with domestic violence, is you're thinking, oh my gosh, what are other people thinking about me? What are they saying? So I would recommend, finding just a temporary hairstyle or something, some way just to cover up, just to camouflage the hair, just so you could have a peace of mind, have a sense of self. And then the next thing that I would want to encourage you to do is that, okay, praise God, you've gotten out of that situation, and do what you can, right there in that moment. So what do I mean by that? You can do the little simple things, making sure that you're, drinking your water. As women, just in general, we don't drink enough water. And when I'm not talking about these just 8 glasses of water here and there, 64 hours, 64 ounces, I believe. But if you can get up to half your body weight in water, that would just help to flush out those impurities and those toxins in your body. Next, I would suggest, laying off a little bit on the heavy foods, if you haven't already lost your appetite, and not being worried, but getting like just vegetables, things in your system to build your immune system back up. And the reason why I say that is, as you have experienced that trauma, that domestic violence, your immune system is really stressed, is really weak, and is really low. And I say that because you were constantly in fight or flight mode. So meaning your adrenal was already what I want to say, rushed. It was already like you never could calm down, because you didn't know what the next thing is finna happen, or you always were, you were always heightened. So now your adrenals are burnt out. You're always going to be feeling tired because your energy is gone. You're worried. So what we have to do is get you to a point where we can just level you off, just at least just get you a peace of mind and get some comfort to you. So next thing I would suggest is if you're into any essential oils, anything that you can do to put in your environment that can soothe you. Even if you can just get time to take a bath and just soak in like Epsom salt and put a little bit of lavender in there. When you put the kids to bed, even if you can just do it one day a week, that you'll be surprised at just a bath and just soaking in that Epsom salt, because Epsom salt has that magnesium, and a lot of our nutrients and things are gone, so we got to replace them, so that magnesium will absorb into your skin. And I would say, if you know that you're lacking in vitamins, I would say at least get you a decent vitamin to take. They put so many fillers and things in these vitamins. I really don't recommend that, but just coming out of that situation, being on something is better than nothing, again, until you can get to a professional like myself or a trichologist in your area that can really get you on the supplements that you need. And just in case if you don't have the funding there, but these are things that you could just do right now that's within your power, just to get you a sense of peace and wellness. Because if you don't have your health, your babies need you, so they dependent on you. And I know that's hard because, you know, you need someone to lean on and be strong. But that's what I would say, just right off the bat, that can just give you a sense of peace.
This is so super profound. One, again, you're just coming out of a situation and you're running and you're leaving, and now that you're out, you know, you are the last one that you are absolutely thinking about in this regard. You didn't think about yourself while you were in. Now that you're out, you're still not thinking about yourself. And, you know, I've taken notes. Girl, I got 2 pages already. So, you know, first of all, most people don't even know what is a trichologist. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
So don't even know what a trichologist is. And before we leave here today, I want you to talk about that. Exactly what is a trichologist? Because I don't think most people know what a trichologist is. But you talked about support system, and you know that fight or flight type of the energy and the chemical reaction that goes on within our bodies. We don't think about those things, but they happen automatically. And so we've got chemical imbalances, and you spoke about vitamins and vitamin supplements, and yeah, I agree with you. There's so many fillers in those things. The fact that we have to take a moment, a step back, to begin to think about ourselves. I always equate it, and many people do, and I'm quite sure you do as well. It's like when you're on that, you know, that airplane, and that I was about to say stewardess, and that would have dated me. Flight attendants.
Yeah.
You know, flight attendants will tell you in the instructions of what to do in case of emergency when that oxygen mask drops from, you know, the ceiling, that you don't put it on your children first, because if you passed out, they have the oxygen and you don't. And you know, some people are like, well, you know, my babies, and I've got to think of them, and we're thinking about everybody else. But in that instance, in an emergency, you have to put that oxygen mask on yourself first, so that you can care for, you know, your dependent, your loved one who sits next to you. This is no different. And what Precious is describing is that you've got to, have to, when even after coming out of a traumatic, you know, situation like domestic violence or intimate partner abuse or any situation, you've got to take care of yourself first. And if it starts with a bath, an Epsom salt bath, so that you can de-stress, woosah, take a moment for yourself in the climate in which what it is that we're living in. You know, there are lots of stressors going on. There's lots of things going on in the house. You know, emotions are high, and unfortunately, domestic violence and intimate partner abuse, the rates are going through the roof, with reports of, you know, abuse going on and child abuse. There's lots of emotions going on high. And I clearly tell my clients and my community that this is the time that you really need to think of yourself. You need to be able to pull away, even if it's in the closet, even if it's one part of your room, and you tell your family that I need an hour. If that's an hour in the bathroom, sitting in the tub, reading or meditating or listening to, good music, whatever that may, you've got to pull away and think of yourself. This is no different. If we want our hair to be healthy, the things that Precious describes is so super important. So, you know, I hate the end of, you know, this particular broadcast, but I'm going to pull a Precious back on again, and maybe we can get together and do a webinar. I'm going to ask you to come to my community, but we'll talk about that off between just you and I, because I want my community, my members, those survivors, to understand this piece, that you are worthy enough to take care of yourself inside and out, in order to shine, in order to look beautiful, in order to have healthy hair. And Precious said before that our hair is everything. You know, as far, you know, women of, you know, Black women, you know, our hair is everything. You know, it's got to look good and it's our crown, according to scripture. You know, our hair is our crown. And so, again, I hate the end of this broadcast, but I'm going to have you back. I want people to be able to reach you directly. I know that you said that you've got a virtual piece that you are going to do and make available for clients, new clients. I need you to talk about that a little bit. Where can we find you on social media? How can we link up to you? What is your email? I need you to lay it all out because I know that people are going to be reaching out to you, Precious.
Yes, absolutely. And real quick, before I go into that, I just want to break it down and tell you guys real quick what a trichologist is. So a trichologist is someone who has specialized and studied specifically in the hair and scalp in this condition, so it's diseases. So yes, we're similar to your dermatologist, but the dermatologist, they study go more in depth as far as with your skin and your whole body. And then again, the trichologists, we are certified. So we're not licensed, but we're certified in the study of hair, in the study of the scalp condition. So I just want to put that out there in case for those that don't know what that is or haven't heard of it. So that's the closest person that you would want on your team, you know, aside from your hairstylist, to help you to get your hair on track. Okay, so now I can be found on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Hair, Health, Happiness. Again, that's Hair, Health, Happiness. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can just type in my name as Precious Rutlin. And then for those of you that need some more information, I do have a freebie for you. It's called 9 Steps to Restore Your Energy. You can go to bit.ly/energy restore. So that's bit.ly/ENERGYRESTORE. So bit.ly/energy restore. And you can get more tips in there on some simple things that you can do just to rebuild yourself up. It's no money or anything, but those are just some quick common things that you can do just to help replenish you as you get yourself together. And my website is www.hairhealthhappiness.com. And on those social media sites, you can do a couple of ways. You can reach out to me through the website, or just instant message me and just say, hey, I was on Doretha's show, and I will take care of you. We can go from there.
I thank you so super much for that. Please, please, please utilize the links, her social media platforms, and her website. I will make sure that all of this information will be in the link below so that you can access healthy hair and where to start, no matter what's going on in your life, whether or not everything good in your world and you don't have any stress or trauma, you still need to see her because you want to keep the hair that's on your head healthy, as well as if you are or have had some sort of trauma that was in your life and your hair can be in better condition. Precious, I want to super thank you, one, for your yes, for the information that you provided. Somebody's going to level up from this. Somebody's going to know that, you know what, I don't have to suffer through the things that I'm going through where my hair is concerned. And I just want to thank you for this, because I know, because you've enlightened me. There are some major things that I didn't realize that I could be doing right now internally in order to help my hair. And the fact that I know what a Trichologist is now. So this thank you so super much for your yes. Thank you for being on Life After Domestic Violence. And again, all of the information that you need, her links, her, the way to contact her will be in the description box below. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming and joining Life After Domestic Violence, because you know what? There is life after domestic violence. See ya. Bye-bye.